Hi, I'm Ricky, and today we're going to try an experimental method of ombre dyeing. We're going to start with shorts. I'm doing tie-dye shorts today, and these are already soaked in ash and ready to go. These are extra large, so they're not going to fit in the bag very well. This is, right here, what we have is just a regular vegetable bag, the kind that you would get at the grocery store if you're getting groceries. And what we're going to do is put these shorts inside that bag. Now to do that right now, I have to kind of crease them up and then lower them into the bag. And once I get them in the bag, I'm going to try to spread them back out so that they're as flat as I can make them. And that means I'm going to have to pick them up a few times and do some shaking. But to keep them from falling all the way to the bottom while I do that, I have to hold the top around the elastic. Otherwise, the whole bottom part will end up in a giant crumple and it won't dye the way I want it to. So I'm going to make sure that my hemline is right at the bottom of the bag. Now I'm going to grab it from the bottom and give a shake so I can get the shorts as far up the bag as possible. Now I don't know if you can see that my waist kind of came a little undone. And now we're farther from the bottom, so we have to go the other direction. It takes a couple of tries. This is about the fourth pair that I've done, and I decided maybe I would videotape it, and that way we could see the process. I have no idea how these are going to look when they're done. This is completely experimental. As you can see, my dyes are already ready. These are dyes from Dharma Trading. They are fiber reactive dye, so in order for these to work, you have to soak your fabric first in soda ash water, mix up your dyes. I mix up 8 ounces of each color at a time, but I do them in 4-ounce bottles, so when I get low, I can lighten it and have a whole nother shade. An example you can see maybe here is these 2 shades of red. Okay, so what we're going to do with this, we're going to start at the bottom and we're going to put in a lot of dye and create an ombre pattern with a couple of colors, and then we're just going to let them soak their way up. So this time I'm going to do, how about if we do orange? Well, maybe we should start with, okay, we'll do orange and yellow and blue, so that we end up with several different colors as it goes up. So I'm going to put lots of dye in the bottom, and I'm doing this carefully. I don't want to get dye on the bag or on the upper part of the shorts. Okay, and now I have to turn over because I need dye on both sides. You see there's not as good of color on this side. And as you're doing that, you got to be careful not to get your hemline far away from the bottom of the bag. Okay, this actually so far has proven to use way more dye than other methods of dyeing, but that's okay because what I'm seeing in the process has been really interesting, which is why I've decided to videotape this so that maybe we have a tutorial. Okay, you can see how the dye is starting to work its way up. We're adding yellow to this side. A lot of dye in there. You can also see how these shorts have slid down to the bottom of the bag in the turning process. So I want to turn that around a little bit. And then I said, what? I got a little bit of blue left, so we're going to do some blue up here. I'm not going all the way to the top. I'm leaving the top of the shorts white, and we'll see what kind of effect we end up with the ombre dyeing. It's not really ombre dye. Ombre dye is a really long process that requires a lot of dipping and a lot of dye adjustment and a much larger container. Okay, so I'm going to look at this. I see I have kind of a thinness on the blue right there, and I'm kind of going to just smush it a little bit and help work the dye up some. And then I'm going to flip it over, trying to keep hold so that my colors don't get away from me. You know, I don't want the shorts to fall down in a rumple. And then I don't want excess air in the bag. This dye needs to sit for 24 hours. I'm going to roll it up. That forces some of the dye upward. So as you can see, as we're getting up here, we're getting color closer and closer to the waistband. See here? I don't know if you can see that. I can't tell where the camera is. So I'm going to roll all the way up, and now I'm going to leave this sit for at least 24 hours. Actually, today is Tuesday. I'm not going to rinse these until Friday because that's when I have time to do so. Fiber reactive dye has to have time to mix with the fabric and to attach itself. These are professional dyes, so they don't take as long as store-bought dyes take in order to adhere to the fabric, and they come out way brighter. So, okay, so this is where we are for now, and I'm going to put this away, wrapped in the plastic so it stays wet the whole time. It's very important that you keep it wet. If it dries, then your whole process stops and you're wasting a lot of dye that way. I mean, that's true whether you're doing ombre or any other kind of any other dye process. So I'm going to set this aside until Friday, and we'll be back when we rinse them out and see how this turned out. Okay, shorts are ready. We're going to pull them out one pair at a time. I'm going to show them to you and try to explain the different processes. Okay, wow, that didn't spin well. This is the pair that, can we see that? Well, kind of. This is the pair that we did first. Okay, so it went all the way up to the waistband. It's mostly red. These went in folded sideways like so into the bag, and I did in the bag press the dye up toward the top of the shorts, so I kind of fed that up a little farther than it needed to go. Okay, the camera keeps cutting off, so I'm just going to run through and let you see as much as I can the results. Maybe that's how I'll do it. I'll pull them off one at a time, making a mess out of the dining room. But you can see how the color's flowing up. I count most of these, maybe all of them, as being quite successful. You just keep going. I love the color change through some of these. Some have a single color, some have a lot. Now we can see those three pretty well. Well, it's purple. It looks blue in the camera, but blue, and then this one back here is teal, and we can see mostly the ombre process. Okay, the camera keeps cutting off, so I'm going to try to finish this up as quickly as possible. The ombre process worked fairly well. The size of the garment you're doing would require bigger bags. If I did this with like t-shirts, the way you would really do this would be to just hang the bottom of it in the dye and kind of let it feed up, but I don't have a way to leave that exposed all the time. So there we have it, the end of the ombre experimental dyeing process. Hopefully y'all are entertained and have got some new ideas for ways to do things. And thank you for your time. Have a great day.